So we're going to do a little housekeeping first to get the most from the webinar. We want you to take great notes. Text your questions. A lot of you are already doing that. Thank you. In that little Q&A panel there in the control panel. So you can text us your questions there. We will get to as many as possible. Usually we run pretty close to the end of time, but we will try to get to as many as possible. If you have technical issues, like Darryl, if you have technical issues, use the chat functionality for that. Because Sarah's monitoring that for us, so thank you for that. If you want to reach Darryl after the webinar, or anytime actually online, you can find him on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Now, Darryl is the author of 3 real estate books. You can find those on Amazon. That first one there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually the #1 book sold to real estate agents on Amazon. Very distinguished. We love it. Darryl was named one of the top 5 coaches in real estate. And if you don't know who those other folks are, that's okay. They're not your presenter today. Darryl's here with us.
We don't care about the other.
We don't care about them today because they're not bringing you how to find a clear vision in 2020. That's what we're here to do.
I don't even know their names.
Darryl is also the recipient of the internationally acclaimed CSP designation. Which is only given to less than 2% of the speakers worldwide. Darryl, on that note, I'm going to let you take it away and wow us today and tell us how we can create clear vision for next year.
Good. Thank you, Julie. Good afternoon, good morning, good wherever you are in the world. Thanks for coming today. So let me just finish up some of the housekeeping. One of the questions that people will always send us in these webinars that we do monthly is, when am I going to be coming to the area live? So if you were to look at that website that's on your screen right now, poweragentseminar.com, that'll show the cities that I go. So I do a tour. These are our free sessions that we do for agents, and it's to get for me to meet them and to train them for 3 hours. So check that out there. Is this webinar a sales pitch? Absolutely not. Really, it's frustrating to go to a webinar and all they do is sell you, and that happens sometimes. I'm sure you can feel the frustration as I do. So, but I do want to clarify something. These monthly webinars we do are for our power agents. Power agents are members of our coaching program. And so I'm going to be talking to them a lot during this webinar. It's really a training for them, but you're invited. It's open up to non-power agents, and the value you're going to get is incredible. So don't feel like you're missing out on anything. We do have bonuses for you if you decide that you want to become a power agent. So that domain that's on your site, on your screen now, is really important, because I am going to point out a couple of gifts that I'm going to give you today. So if you want to just remember that or jot it down, the PowerPoint, don't go to it yet. Let me train you and stay focused. What's that, Julie?
Stay with us for
Stay with us right now, because now it's time for me to train you. But real quick, just to give an overview to the non-power agents on the call, this program is only $27 a month, so it's month to month, so people can cancel any time. We have for the first 30 days is free, so you can kick the tires and check it out, and you can actually get today's bonuses when you sign up during the 30-day trial. So Julie hates when I say this, but technically you could sign up and get all the free stuff we're going to give you and then cancel. Yeah, sorry, Jules, but that's what they can do. All right, now let's start setting this up a little bit. So why are we talking about a vision in September? Why clear vision? I like my play on words like that, clear vision, in 2020. Because it's important you understand the cycle of any business. So if this was a boulder pushing it up a hill, when you have the boulder and you have the hill, you kind of come up with you formulate your plan. You look at the boulder, you look at the hill, and you figure out, what are we going to do, right? What's the plan? Then you start to actually implement the plan. When you start to implement a new plan, there's a lot of effort you're putting into it. Like if you put in 10 units of energy, you may only get 1 back in results. So you're working really, really hard. But at some point in your business, you get some stability. You start getting business coming to you. You're having cash flow a little bit more solid. Eventually you start getting momentum, and then you're back to formulation at a higher level. So every business periodically needs to reinvent who they are, and this is the business model in doing that. So really what we're doing on this webinar, but the fact that it's September, why I wanted to do it so early is because what I want for you, and if you stop listening at any point, please listen now. What I want for you is to start to look at these next couple of months of implementing some of the things that you need to do, like get ready. You know how we get ready to prospect sometimes? Well, I've got to get my list, and I've got to get my dialogue, and we're getting ready to prospect. I want you to kind of do that kind of stuff now, so when January comes, you're hitting the ground running really strong. So anyway, I'll ask you guys a question. If you look at this dealership, and you look at this car dealership, and if you think about a restaurant, or you think about a bakery, and even a real estate office, what do all of these things have in common? What does the real estate office have in common, or you as a real estate agent with a pizzeria, with a bakery, with a car dealership? What do you have in common? I'll tell you what it is, and that is that you're all businesses. And when we start to look at our business like a business, we start doing things differently. When I was in Corpus Christi yesterday, I said that when I first got into real estate, this woman I spoke to at the Small Business Administration, she said, do not look at yourself as a salesperson, look at yourself as a business person. And that to me was a really powerful distinction. So as a business person, we're going to start to talk about the skill sets and the things that you need to be doing for 2020. See, like if you were to look at just these pictures here, like of a restaurant, right? So the chef in the upper left-hand corner, they have a different skill set than over to the right, you've got the waiter. And over at the bottom there, you have the maitre d'. And then you've got the accountant. So they all working in the restaurant, but each person has a different skill set. The chef has a different skill set than the accountant, and the waiter from the maitre d'. Now in our business, gang, fortunately or unfortunately, we need to have great skill sets in all of these things. We're the cook, we're the server, we're the marketer, we're the CEO, we're the accountant. So we need to get strong at these things. We're going to talk about that right now. So improving your skills, here's a few things I want to talk to you first about, and that is being a real estate salesperson. You all know we need a lot of energy. And because if we get up in the morning, we don't feel like prospecting, we're not going to prospect. If we don't feel like working, we won't. Or if we do, we'll do it half, I don't want to curse, half, what's it, half tushy, half tushy, and not be really productive. And you ever done that? You're going through your day and your energy's not there. You're going through the motions. And if you work for 8 hours, you really only maybe put 2 hours of quality time in. Yeah, that's just, you kind of wasted a day. So I've been talking about this lately, but how do you get energy in your life? Like, how do I, get red eye after doing a 3-hour seminar, flying all day, get home at 5 in the morning, wake up 2 hours later to get ready for a webinar I'm doing for you? Well, here's the secret. Here's what I figured out about having energy. How you have a lot of energy is that you've got to be passionate about what you're doing, right? So you've got to have such passion, vision as to what you want to have happen in your life and what you're doing for others, the passion that you have for others and serving others, making a difference. Now, how do you have passion in what you do in your business? Is that you've got to love what you do. When it's just like any relationship, when you are madly in love with somebody, then that love creates passion, which creates energy for the relationship. Now, listen, there's times in every relationship we don't feel like, we're that passionate about them or we're that in love with them. So you've got to re-examine that. You've got to, in the beginning of a relationship, now watch this, this is, I think, really important. In the beginning of a relationship, love kind of is automatic, like it's there. It's like you don't even have to work at it. It's like, ooh, I can't wait for him or her to call me. And ooh, like it just happens naturally. But after a while, that kind of goes away. It settles to some point where now you've got to generate it. And it's the same in real estate. like most of us, when we got into real estate, we were probably pretty excited. We loved the possibility of what real estate could be for us. And it was that love, that initial love that we had for the business that kind of drove that passion and that energy. And we did things, and we were just, you know, we put like 2 hours of work in 60 minutes. Like we're just so passionate about what we're doing. And as we got more experience and more time under our belt, we've now got to recommit to our business. So here's what I'm going to suggest that you do is that you make a why I love real estate list. Now, if you're a new salesperson on this webinar, you're already in love, right? You're in the honeymoon stage and you're passionate, so you're fine. Yeah. So this is for the older people on the call, and I don't mean older in age, I mean, but older in years of experience in real estate. I've had some of our power agents actually start telling me, Darryl, I love this. I'm doing this. Take the time to sit down and ask yourself, why do you love this business? What is it that you love about it? And Julie taught me something. Julie said, instead of us looking at our to-do list each day or looking at our career and saying, you know, I have to do this, you know, I have to make some calls and I have to get organized and I have to clean the car and I have to go pay my bills. Instead of all that, changing it to I get to, right? I get to, you know, make calls to for sale by owners. I get to determine the outcome of my income. So if you just shift from I have to I get to, that will help source some of that energy, some of that love. So make a list of what do you get to do in real estate that's really exciting. Why is real estate so great? Why is it a great profession? Hang that if you need to, okay? The next thing is, this is, you know, I have a clear vision for 2020. We've all heard this, like we got to write down our goals. I'm not going to tell you about doing a vision board, but I will tell you, listen, as a motivational speaker and trainer for real estate agents, I still, you know, have to go back to the basics. I'm taking a class that's starting, when is it, Julie? I think it's October, Goldman Sachs, is it?
Yep, beginning of October.
I'm taking an MBA program that's sponsored by Goldman Sachs. It's going to be about a 4 month or 3 month program. It's pretty, no, a 4 month program.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months, pretty intensive. I'm going to have homework 10 hours a week and classes, and I had to move my schedule around, a lot of work. And one of the things, I went to the 2 hour introductory for us. And I'm really excited because I'm hanging out with really great business people, successful, all different industries. And, you know, part of it, I said, all right, what are my goals? So I actually wrote down, let me jump to that. I blurred it out because it's personal. I don't want you to share, but I don't want you all to know my personal goals. These are my personal things. These are business things. But this is an actual screenshot. This is what I did. I created a Word document. Said, all right, here's my 2020 goals and commitments. As part of this program in Goldman Sachs, this is what I'm committed to, and it's hanging, you can't see it, it's hanging right here in my office. There's something I want to share with you that Julie actually gave me this morning. She said, you want to be so committed to your vision that people stop questioning you and they simply just move the hell out of your way. I mean, that's such a great quote, that you're so committed, you're so focused, you're so passionate, you don't listen to other people's, the naysayers, the negativity. They're like, you know what, just get away from this agent because they're a madman on a mission. And that's what you want to put out in the world, right? So, all right, let's go to this thing. Now, part of the gift that we gave you, gang, is this easy business plan. It's a one-page business plan to help you in having your vision and creating that. I will tell you, I'm going to give you guys a gift for those of you who decide that you want to become a power agent. Power agents, you have this already. I'll show you where it is in a minute. We created a 37-page business plan. And I'm going to tell you something. This is one of my favorite pieces of work that we created as a team because it's so intensive. I'm going to just give you an idea. The reason why it's called the Breakthrough Business Plan, what we did is there's 3 business plans in one, where it focuses, there's a section on now business and future business and financial freedom. So for example, the first section says, all right, if you need some now business, like FSBOs, you need listings, or you need to have a strong listing appointment, you have to prospect. So there it goes through a plan step by step to generate business in the next 30 days, right? With charts and dialogue and suggestions. Then there's future business, all right? So if you've got some good business happening now and you want to start planting the seeds and we'll talk about firming and self-promotion and all of these other technology things and letters. It's just an incredible business plan. And then the last part that I don't talk too much about, on only certain occasions, we talk about financial freedom, how to manage your money, how to invest, and how to grow your business. Now, Power Agents, you already have that. It's in the time management section of the website. I'm sorry I didn't explain this well. For new Power Agents, we have a dedicated website for you that when you log in at thepowerprogram.com and you go to Classroom, there's all these tabs, and one of the tabs is time management and money management. You go there, you'll see, what is it? It's alphabetical. It's called Breakthrough Business Plan, and you can download it. It's a PDF. The other thing, gang, what you should do to help you stay focused during the year is having a daily schedule. Here's a recommended or suggested schedule, not hour by hour, but a couple hours here, do this, and then anyway, I think something like this will also help you stay focused day to day, because usually we get distracted by life, we get distracted by our business, and we have to be more proactive. Here's another tool that you want to start to implement. See, all these things I'm talking about, gang, is you want to start planting the seeds and putting these things together now, like this dot board, right? I wish I had it. Sarah, if you're paying attention, or Julie, can you clip Sarah to tell her to bring in one of the open house signs that we have that April is working on? Just bring it into my office because I want to show it on the camera. But anyway, while they're doing that, gang, the dot board, here's the concept. It's a big board. I'm going to have it brought in a second to show you. So there it is, January through December. Now, what happens is that when you get a piece of business in any one of those three categories, you'll put a dot on the dot board, right? So you can buy these dots. They're the size of a quarter at the stationery or on Amazon, the little sticky dots. So every time you get something, it's like, yes, I got a dot. Yay. And then, okay, here's another one. This is so great. And what happens is that what Power Agents have told us that actually implement the dot board, they actually get more excited about the dots. It's immediate gratification. Psychologically, it's immediate gratification where you're acknowledging yourself for something you accomplished. There's another benefit. Let me see the screen here. Give me a second. Okay, let me go back. Give me 1 second. There's another benefit to the dot board. So let's say it's actually March, right? And this is what your dot board looks like. If this was the middle of March, looking at this board, what does it tell you? It tells you that you started the year off strong, then you kind of pooped out in February, and March, forget about it. Now you're really starting to fall behind. So the dot board really gives you an overview of how your business is doing, a snapshot of it. Here's the other thing that it does, and what I recommend that you do is actually, you'll notice I stuck with the same color dots. I recommended Power Agents to take the dot board and put two colors. So in other words, for 2019, you would put all the dots up that you've already done. So that way, going into 2020, the game is you want to have more dots each month compared to the year before. And so that's my other suggestion. Okay, I don't know if anybody heard me about bringing in the board. I wanted to show it. It was not important, but okay, let's go on. Okay, the listing inventory chart. This is another chart that I suggest that you guys do, which is to create a chart on tracking your listing inventory. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Gang, I don't know if I can't see. Julie, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. Can you see the whole shot over here, the board? I don't need that, right?
I can see it's yellow. I don't see anything on it.
Yeah, there's nothing on it. Okay. So
gotcha.
The point that I just wanted to make, because we're using this for something else. This is you get this on Amazon. You Google Amazon poster board. And this is yellow. You can get it in white, and you can create those two charts: the dot board and then the listing inventory chart. And as you can tell, I'm a fan of putting things on the walls. It helps you stay focused. The problem with doing things that are not hanging up for you, like this listing inventory chart. You can create an Excel spreadsheet for this, but the problem is you have to open up the software to see it. But when you have it hung up in front of your face, it's always there for you, right? So the listing inventory chart, if you've been in my seminars, you've heard me talk about this, about tracking your available inventory, how many listings you currently have out there for sale that's not in contract. Once it goes in contract, you take it off the shelves. So this is available inventory. And what you want to do in 2020 is you want to build your inventory. And if you'll notice that little expression on the inventory chart, it says focus on building listing inventory by 1 a month. I guarantee you, gang, in 2020, if you focus on building your inventory by 1 a month, you're going to double your income in 2020. So those are the 2 motivational boards that I suggest that you do. Where are we? Okay. Why is it doing that? Sorry, I'm going the wrong way. The other thing is, when you start to prospect, like when I have to do work, I close my doors, and I don't need to put a sign on my door. But for some of you, it might be useful to tell people, listen, don't disturb me. I'm prospecting. I'm building my business. Things like this to help you stay focused. This is a daily task list that I really love, because what it does, sometimes what happens, we have so much stuff we've got to work on in a day, right? And we'll have a really huge to-do list, and we'll go through our day. We feel like we did a lot of stuff, but we didn't accomplish anything. So what this is designed to do is to help, listen, no matter what you're doing in that day, you want to make sure that these are the top to-do tasks that you do. Like if you do these things, that'll help you bring you closer to your vision. That was a great day. So you might have 20 things to do, but you know what? Let me get these 2, 3, or 4 things. They must be done. If I finish those things, here's some other items that I like to tackle for the day. And then it's important, I think, for us to acknowledge ourselves at the end of the day that we accomplished what we did accomplish. And then there's some other suggestions about self-improvement, like meditating or praying. Give yourself permission to fail. That's really important, especially when it comes to prospecting. Take 30 times to watch or improve your skill and ability. Another chart that we've given our power agents, and this is something everybody can do, is making a list of all the different ways to generate listing inventory, to prospect, if you will. And the game is that every day you're doing maybe 1 or 2 of those items. You don't have to do them all, but if you ever get stuck and it's like, what should I do today to listen, here's a motto I want you guys to think about. Your business is either growing or it's dying. There's no in between. There's no stability, because that's life. Plants, they're either growing or they're dying. Human beings are either growing or they're dying. That's how life is, right? And so businesses are a life. So you want to, how a business grows is the business that you're bringing in. It's really important for your success in 2020 to make sure that you are implementing some kind of support structure that's helping you prospect, even if it's just 2 calls a day. That will be powerful. Also, think outside of the box. You know, there's an expression that I love. When you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. Part of being a successful business person is working with other successful business people and brainstorming with them, you helping them, them helping you. I'm part of the National Speakers Association, and we're just forming, Julie and I, a group for the National Speakers Association, which is the top speakers based on their revenue. And we've been doing weekly conference calls. I'm interviewing other top speakers and transcribing that and giving it to the people in our group. So we're networking, we're brainstorming, we're educating. Now, what we do for the power agents, gang, if you go to that tab in Classroom of Monthly Magazine, every month we're interviewing other successful power agents just for that purpose, for you to see what they're doing, to see their strategies, their ideas. It's important that you network and you get feedback and you get input from other agents who are doing other successful strategies. Recommit weekly. That's real important. You know, one of the things that we don't always do, Julie, but we probably should do more is having our weekly meetings in our office, right? Mm-hmm. And whenever we've done that, we've always succeeded really well that week, because it kind of gives the whole team a real focus. one of the things that we do for the power agents is that every week we have our coaching call every Monday from 11 to 12. Power agents tell us they love these calls because when they're calling in, they're getting that weekly shot. So I want you all to start thinking, if you're not a power agent, what can you do the beginning of every week, Monday, where you're out of your head, you're getting inspired, you're getting focused and motivated as to what you're going to do the next 7 days. You know what's powerful about this concept? When you look at a year goal, usually your goal is like, we got plenty of time, right? We got 365 days. There's no real sense of urgency sometimes with our year goals. But when we start setting weekly goals, and every week saying, all right, here's what I'm going to do to move the ball down the court in the next 7 days. That gives you clarity. It gives you focus. It gives you clear vision. It's tasks that are more manageable. It's more inspiring, and it's more urgent. So I cannot stress enough how powerful it is that weekly that you do some kind of strategy call or strategy meeting with yourself as to what you're going to do these next 7 days. Now, power agents, you all know that when we record these calls, we put it in the Facebook group for you. Okay, and that's all. Let's talk about prospecting. Okay, how are we doing on time? I don't have a clock in front of me. Okay, 12. Prospecting. Here's what I'm going to suggest that you start planning for 2020. FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, old FSBOs, and expireds. To me, those are the best quality of leads for people. And there's so many things that you can do, but this is one of my favorite. Now, if you're going to start calling FSBOs and expireds and prospecting this way, you want to get organized. Now, we are big in pushing RedX. Huge. I push it every time because to me, this is the best system. But if it's not RedX, at least have some kind of system to help you stay focused, some kind of database, some kind of list, even if it's pieces of paper in a workbook or in a notebook and you kept track of it that way. But gang, when it comes to prospecting, you need some kind of system to keep you focused. With RedX, it's just, to me, this is an awesome software. I want you all to just jot that down. If you're not a power agent that's using the RedX, DarrylSpecial.com, smile, they give you huge discounts where you don't pay the first 30 days, you don't pay the setup fee. We're the only speaker that has that because we're really big on the RedX for our power agents, okay? Now, also make sure you have dialogue. So I'm giving you all these little tips for 2020. So if you're going to prospect for now business and you're going to be doing FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, make sure you have some dialogue. And have the dialogue because it's security blanket. It'll get you started. It'll help you stay focused. For our power agents, we created some new dialogue for you when calling around new listings that come to the market for a neighborhood, right? So make sure you look at that. Also commit to consistency. When it comes to prospecting, you want to have some kind of consistent plan. So for those of you that go to the gym, you know what I'm talking about. Like you probably go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like you'll go, whatever. I'm picking those days. I don't know what days you go, but the point, that was stupid. You probably have certain days, certain times when you prospect. You're consistent, you're committed to that, you stay to that. You want to do the same thing in prospecting. I just threw this up here. This is a picture. I thought it was funny.
Can't unsee that, Darryl.
You can't unsee that. This is not what I look like. Okay, now here's two suggestions. Here's two suggestions I have in consistency when it comes to prospecting. Me personally, what I did is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would call FSBOs, expireds. That was my prospecting time around dinner time, so after 6 o'clock. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can find me calling after dinner my leads. There's another technique that you can do, which a lot of power agents have success with this, is just make 2 to 4 calls a day. Now, what's a call? It could be just a call, meaning they don't even answer, like you leave voicemail. That's fine. You know, if you think about it, if you made let's go with the low number. If you made 2 calls a day, and let's say you did that 5 days a week, right? That's 10 calls a week. That's 40 calls a month. That's almost 500 calls in a year. Let me ask you something. If you made 500 calls in a year, do you think that might have a positive impact in your finances? For some of you, you would dramatically dramatically, you would have a financial breakthrough if you just did 2 calls a day. So listen, this is why we're having this conversation in September now, because what I want you to start to do, gang, is if you're going to do what I'm suggesting and making calls and building your inventory and all that stuff, I want you to start putting the pieces together now, right? Get your file system now. Get your dialogue now. And listen, if you get all ready before January, then start practicing in October, November. Start making calls just to practice, so that way January you're consistent. Okay. How are we doing, Julie?
We're good. I love it.
All right, listen, for those of you, I'm making an announcement because last year I didn't do this. People got upset at me. Why didn't you tell me you were doing this? I'm doing a class once a year on calling FSBOs expired, building inventory, the listing appointment. It's live full day. Long Island, New York, it's the only place I do it. People say, come to Florida, come to California. I only do it on Long Island in January. This is the website. So if you want to see me call FSBOs and generate, if you want to hit the ground running in January, get to this workshop. We're already starting to sell tickets, and we always sell out weeks in advance, so don't dilly-dally. This is a picture of me actually calling from last year's class. I call FSBOs live to show you. If you speak to 4 FSBOs, you can schedule 2 appointments. It's a really powerful class. I recommend you check it out. Okay, now, let's see. What are we going to do now? Farming and self-promotion. So one of the plans for 2020 is perhaps having a farming and self-promotion campaign. Gang, if you don't have the finances to invest in monthly mailings and monthly promotions, then you should just skip this, right? Do not spend money you don't have. So I'm not saying you have to do this in 2020. I'm saying financially, if you're able to, this is an awesome thing to do. And what I'm going to suggest, I have a whole webinar that we did on farming and self-promotion. Obviously, I'm not going to get into it now, but you can watch that one on the website. But the one thing I'm going to say is, if you have the finances in 2020 to start doing self-promotion farming, figure out some kind of niche that you want to pursue. It could be geographic, it could be a price range, high-end or first-time buyers, condos, co-ops. So you want to, oops, what's going on here? You want to, when I say ethnic, don't get weirded out. I'm not talking about fair housing. Like there's some, it could be a culture thing. I have some agents who speak different languages, so they focus on that nationality because they actually are from there and they can relate. There is a way of thinking sometimes from where people are from. Anyway, so having a niche is a great idea when it comes to self-promotion and farming. What I'm going to suggest that you do, we actually did a whole video on this topic. It was not a webinar, it was a video, I think. Julie, how long was that? Like 10 minutes or something?
It is. It is.
Yeah, it goes through how to fill this out. And I'm not going to talk about it now because it's just too much.
It's complicated. It's math.
It's complicated. So, but the bottom line is, you want to, if you're going to start farming and self-promotion, you want to pick an area that has some turnover, that has a good price range. So you've got to get some stats from your MLS to figure out, is this neighborhood better than that neighborhood? And if that neighborhood is good, well, how many mailings should I be doing? Because if I do too much, maybe it will not be good when I thought it would be good. So there's a whole kind of business calculation to that. When you're going to do self-promotion, you want to have some kind of consistent campaign. You just don't want to wing things, right? You want to take, if you think of any advertising company or advertising company, they have a client. Doesn't matter who the client is, could be Coco, whatever, just they have a plan. They say, all right, in this season, we're going to run these ads. We're going to run these ads in this social media spot. We're going to spend this kind of money in that. So you want to do the same thing in your business. You just don't want to haphazardly promote yourself. You want to bring some business skills to it, yeah? I know I'm throwing a lot at you, gang, so it's important that you just do what works for you. I'm giving you a smorgasbord of ideas. When you have a farming campaign, you can mail out things like this expired letter. This is something that the power agents, we've given them for this time of year going into the Halloween, the fall season, and hot market flyer. So these are all things we actually create for our power agents to help them. So they don't have to design it. They just drop their information at the bottom of there, okay? And then little marketing things that also establish value. 8 reasons to hire an agent to sell a house. Free over the phone market analysis is a great technique. It basically promotes to the neighbors, listen, if you want to know what your house is worth, simply call me, answer some questions over the phone, and I'll give you a ballpark idea. What's really great about this is there's some homeowners that are curious about what their house is worth, but they're afraid to call an agent because they don't want to be sold. But if you tell them, listen, I'm not even going to come to your house, I can do it over the phone, you'll get more calls. Now what happens is you give them a big range, and if they want to know a more accurate range, like, you know, is it higher or lower from what you're telling them, you want to come see the house so you can help them do that. So it's a way to make the phone ring a lot more, build relationships, and actually get some face-to-face appointments. You know, then there's door knocking ideas that you can do for your past clients, where you buy these little tchotchkes and customized gifts. So we've created some of those. And the top 100, another thing to validate realtors. I want to talk some about the listing appointment in just a second, about validating our profession, you know, doing newsletters to your farm area. So these are all different things. I want to say something about this because, again, I just threw a bunch at you. When it comes to marketing and self-promotion, what's important going into 2020 is don't try and do everything. Just write down your 5 favorite tools that you're passionate about, and then, you know, pick 2 or 3 of those to start with, right? So don't get overwhelmed, gang. You're building a business, and you want to be selective and start slow. Now, let's talk about the listing appointment. So, gang, on the listing appointment, here's what I'm going to say, is it should be a structured conversation. You don't just wing it. So, for example, you want to, in 2020, you want to have a strong and improved listing conversation. You want to make sure you're building rapport when you first go over there. You engage them by asking the right questions. Then you give them advice, and then you get the listing. So part of what I want you to do for 2020 is improve your listing conversation, like get really great at that listing appointment. And here's some ideas to help you do that. To me, this is kind of the structure I have that listing appointment would go when you're talking about advising them what you can do for them. Is you want to validate yourself first and your credibility. You want to validate then your company, what your company brings to the table for the homeowner, then validate the real estate industry, especially when you're talking to a FSBO, and then go into here's how you market your listings. So this is the overview of the actual listing appointment. And what I want you guys to do in 2020 is start now getting really skilled at that listing conversation. Get past it. Because let me tell you something, if you don't have a good listing appointment, you're not passionate about it, you're not going to prospect. One of the things that prevents agents from actually prospecting is because they don't feel confident that if they do get the appointment, what are they going to say? Now, when it comes to talking to for sale by owners and expireds, I want you to get really passionate about validating your value, validating realtor, what we bring to the table. So what I suggest you do, we gave this to our power agents, and it's in the listing appointment, is we came up with 184 things that we do for a homeowner, 184 things. And this is why a homeowner being a FSBO, they can't possibly do what we do. There's an example of establishing value. If we didn't provide value, there wouldn't be over 1.3 million realtors in the United States that are making a living, feeding their families. So there must be something that we bring to the table that the for sale by owner doesn't have. Another thing that you may want to do is, well, along the same lines, I'm sorry, let me back up. So we created this 184 list to actually give to homeowners. It could be in a pre-listing package. It could be something that you drop off. But the other thing that we did for our students is we sat down, we said, all right, what are the top reasons why a homeowner shouldn't sell on their own? And we came up with these 26, and there's a whole webinar around this. For everybody on this call, one of the things I suggest you do, like we talked about you creating a list of why I love real estate, I suggest that you create a list of why a FSBO should not be a FSBO. And if you do that, I hope by the end of that, you're making that list, you'll have more confidence that, you know what, we really do provide a valuable service to homeowners and they should not sell it on their own. I'm going to show you a couple of things to validate why a homeowner should not be a FSBO. Is the former CEO of ForSaleByOwner.com, he tried to sell his own condominium in New York. He tried to do it on his own after 6 months. And this is the guy that wrote the book, by the way, on how to sell your own property, right? Well, after 6 months, he winds up hiring a real estate broker. He gets multiple offers, and he pays $129,000 commission. But he sold it. You'll see over there in the article that he actually sold it for $150,000 more than when he was a FSBO. If you do the math, this guy, the CEO for SaleByOwner.com, actually netted, $21,000 more in his pocket by paying a real estate agent to sell their house. ByOwner is another one. This company, this CEO, what he does on his website says, boy, let me skip to the article. The ByOwner guy, he says, you know what? Let me just list with an agent instead of trying to do it myself. So this was a big news article in the Herald Tribune in Florida. He winds up, let's see, the longtime chief executive built a successful business in Florida, Georgia, helping sell others without paying a real estate commission. But yet, when he was selling his $3.78 million listing, he actually listed with a Coldwell Banker agent. So if you've got these people hiring an agent, there must be more to the process of selling a house. Otherwise, they would have done it successfully themselves. FSBO, see, here's how I look at it. What we are like contractors. There's so many. If you remember the list that I said, there's 184 things that we do for a homeowner. And some of those things, we don't personally do it, but we have other people that are doing it, right? And so what a realtor is, what a real estate professional is like a general contractor making sure that all the tools that are being used to get the property sold at the highest possible price are being done correctly. They're done on time. Trying to sell your own house is like building a house without a general contractor, where you've got all of these different people doing different stuff, not talking to one another. It ain't going to come out. And that's why a homeowner needs to hire a real estate agent. One of the things I want you also in 2020 to get really strong at is using metaphors, analogies like I just did with the general contractor. For example, when you're talking to a FSBO, you tell them there's things that you know and there's things that you may not even see. Like I said this earlier, when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. My job is to look outside of this situation, to give you the best coaching, to give you the best advice. When you're selling it yourself, you're too close to it, yeah? And you'll make bad decisions. When they say, well, let's ask a higher price. We can always come down later. Well, if you sit on the shelves too long, it gets stale. Just like in the supermarket, when bread sits on the shelves too long, it gets stale. What does the supermarket need to do to sell it? They got to drop the price. You don't want to ask too high, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, where you become stale bread. You'll actually lose money in the long run. One of the reasons why most homeowners wind up hiring an agent is because if you look at catching a buyer to buy your house, it's like catching a fish. When you're for sale by owner, it's like sitting out in the lake, throwing a fishing line out in the lake, trying to catch a fish. The fishing line is your marketing tool. So when you put a for sale sign, a FSBO sign on your front lawn, that's a fishing line. When you put it on Zillow, okay, that's a fishing line. So you as a homeowner are doing these fishing lines trying to catch that fish. But my company, we use a trawler. And we throw a big net out into the ocean. We bring all these buyers on board. The activity that we generate helps us to be more selective, to find the best quality buyer, so that way you can sell your house. If they say to you, well, listen, bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a commission. Imagine if your daughters get married and you go to 6 bakers and you say, hey, listen, I want the best wedding cake for my daughter. So here's what I want. You 6 bakers. You bake me a cake for the wedding. Whichever cake comes out the best, that's the one I'm going to buy. Come on. How many of these bakers are going to spend their money, time, and resource to bake you a cake? Nada. Zippo. Why? Because you didn't commit to one. Same thing is true real estate. When you say to agents, bring me a buyer, then I'll pay you a fee. You don't have any agent rolling up their sleeves, committed to working for you, spending their money, their time, which is what you need. You need a marketing person, a general contractor. You need somebody vested in your success. And you can't do that without giving that one-on-one commitment. one of the things to help you in 2020 is really get good at these metaphors and analogies and look at the two areas of metaphors and analogies. One is handling sellers' objections, like I have a friend in the business, or I have an attorney who will do it they'll help me in the process, or I have buyers. Those are objections, metaphors to handle those. But the other is marketing tools. When you talk about MLS, yard sign, lockbox, you need to explain those with metaphors. So one of the things that'll help you improve your listing appointment for 2020 is get really skilled at these metaphors and analogies. I'm going to tell you, this is worth tens of thousands of dollars if you start doing this. Yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is the CRM. There's a lot of CRMs out there. And we've been investigating CRMs. And you know what we found is that this CRM has some features that we like, but they're missing others. And then we go to this CRM, and this one has some things that are great, but they don't have all of it. So what we're going to be doing for our power agents is we're launching a CRM, a power agent CRM for them. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think. Even if you don't do ours, here's what I want to share with you. Like if you're not a power agent, here's the CRM, what you should be looking for, and you need to have one in 2020 and use it. Now, some of you have it and you're not using it. So that would be part of the planting the seeds this year now to get ready for 2020 is take some time to get educated about your CRM, because your CRM is like your digital assistant that's helping you build a business. Let's keep something in mind, gang. We are not salespeople, we're business people, and a business person needs a CRM, period, end of story, right? So if you're not using it, you need to get good at using it. And if you don't have one, here's what you need to look for in a CRM. You need to make sure that it is mobile friendly. Like the one that we're launching for our power agents, it's awesome on the phone and also on the computer, of course, right? So make sure it's mobile friendly. Not all of them are. Make sure that there's some kind of newsletter system built into it where you can take your clients that you have and you have templates already created, so you're not writing the newsletter and all you have to do is click a button and it sends it out, because this is a way to stay in touch with your past clients and people who are not clients but you're trying to get them. Make sure whatever CRM that you choose has a lead capture system, like where you can actually have the website work with your CRM. Now, Power Agents, the one that we're going to be launching for you, has like a free website. Like if you don't have one, it's part of it. Like it's a gift. Like you can create your own. It's all there for you. You don't pay extra for that, which is pretty awesome. Make sure there's user-friendly lists. Now, I prospect in my business too, and what I can tell you is one of the databases, CRMs we were using, it was good for communication and email, but it wasn't good for prospecting. When I looked at our leads and our clients, people I wanted to talk to, it wasn't empowering. So I wanted to make sure that when we give our power agents, they had that ability where it's empowering for you to work your lists, because you need to work your list. So make sure, those of you that don't have a CRM, that you're working your list and the CRM has a good list, a good visual way of looking at it. Another thing is campaigns. So if you look at this, it says keep in touch, and it has these systems where you click on this and for monthly e-newsletters, and then if you want to make an announcement about a party or client appreciation, like these are campaigns that are already written for you, where you're not just sending out one notice, but you're sending out drip notices, right? So it's like you make the first announcement, hey, I'm having this client appreciation party. Then a few days later, hey, just a reminder about the appreciation party. If you have an RSVP, please click through. So it's called a campaign. And if you want to make sure your CRM has campaigns instead of you writing it, that it's given to you like what we're giving our power agents. Easy to use. I want you to see something on the top, the header of our CRM that we're launching. You'll see it says home button, then it says task list. I mean, this is really cool, right? So if you just look at what are my tasks for the day, bada bing, there's your list. To me, this is empowering. It's like, okay, I want to check those boxes over to the left. So I want to send a birthday card or a gift to Gary. Bada bing when you do it. So there's something about a list and a check mark and it's done. It's empowering. It's a game that you play with yourself mentally. Going back at the top, you've got calendar, staying in touch with people systematically, mass emails out, active business, logging. That's the other thing you want. Your CRM should be able to track your active listings, your closings, your commissions, the closing dates, so it manages your business, right? Okay, so here's to summarize. Let me see how we're doing on time. Okay, good. To summarize for 2020, have a clear vision. Make sure you're clear about what your goals are. Write those down. Focus on prospecting because your business is either growing or it's dying. Have passion for the listing appointment, what you're going to say, and tweak that, improve on it, be organized. So that way it doesn't drain you, your business. You want to have good file systems, which goes along with the CRM. Now, I have a gift for you guys. I'm going to tell you about it, and then we're going to open it up to questions. So if you want to become a power agent, you'll see the website there. When you go to that website, thepowerprogram.com/webinar bonus, you're going to not only get the 30 days free, but you're going to get that 37-page breakthrough business plan, which is loaded with scripts and techniques and flyers and strategies. And you're going to get not just the PowerPoint slides from today, so you can actually edit it and use it the way you want, but you're also going to get the audio recording of this, of me going through that. So for those of you, just to summarize the Power Program itself, every Monday we have our coaching calls so that you can call in and ask any questions. There's the webinars on demand. We have the interviews of top agents every 30 days. We put it into a magazine. There's vendors that we recommend. This is all part of the $27, a dedicated Facebook group for you. And I love this testimony from Valerie. She said, I'm so pumped after the webinar. I got my first FSBO listing yesterday. It took 3 weeks of follow-up. They interviewed several agents, but this power agent's here to serve. I love that testimonial from Valerie. And the dedicated website, which has the classroom, all of this stuff, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of forms on the website. When you click on one of those categories, you go in deep, and there's so much stuff there for you, the dialogues, the flyers. So I'm going to skip over this slide because I want to open it up to questions now. Julie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, so good. We got 7 minutes. I can do questions. So let's do the questions. So
Wonderful.
If you have a question, you just got to, where do they do the questions, Julie? They click on the right side there, the chat.
Yep, they see questions and they can just type their questions in there, and we'll get to as many as possible.
Okay, do we have any?
We do. One gentleman wanted to know, you said 30 minutes. You should use 30 minutes, dedicate 30 minutes of learning new skills. Was that weekly or monthly?
Yeah, daily.
Daily.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. What does CRM stand for? We have a lot of questions for that.
That's so interesting. Okay, that's a contact relationship management. Is that right, Julie? Is that what it is?
That is right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Haha, see, I didn't even know. So, gang, so let me just clarify that. So contact relationship management. So what it is, basically, it's a database. So you have a software where all of your leads go into. Your people that you're trying to work, people that are past clients, your friends, your families. So basically, look at it as like your iPhone with all your contacts souped up. And what it's souped up with is the other things that I said, where you can actually do mass emailings, you can do mass letters, mailing campaigns, track your notes, track relationships, contacts, conversations, create to-dos for yourself. It's no business can really function without a CRM. Okay, Julie, what's next?
Do we know if the CRM is going to have an IDX, if those websites are IDX feeds? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if ours is, right?
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. So we're going to be rolling out a lot of information. A lot of people are asking when we're going to launch this. And
yeah, so and I see some people, is it part of the $27 a month? The CRM will be not, it'll be an upcharge, but it won't be a lot. It'll be, it won't be like $100 or $200. It's probably going to be somewhere around the $40 range. And the reason why is because there's a lot of money going into it, and it's really awesome. But more importantly is that not every power agent will want it. because they currently have a CRM that they don't want to leave. So this will be an add-on for people that do not have a CRM. Yeah.
Yes. Can your programs be modified for an entire brokerage? Ron is asking.
Can what be
So that
modified?
would be our enterprise. Yes, Ron, the answer is yes, we do modify our membership program for entire brokerages. If you want to learn more about that, you can contact our office or email me at julie@darryldavisseminars.com.
Yep.
Let's see. What about social media? My company stresses that, but I've never heard you speak about it. So we do have.
Okay. Let me tell you why I haven't spoken about it, because so social media is a power. So here's what social media is. Social media is digital farming. Okay. And digital farming is great. There's several challenges with it though. The one thing that mailings has that digital doesn't is that if you mail out something, everybody in your farm is going to get it. But if you were to post something socially, not everybody's going to get it. Why? Because some people are not on social media, and some are on Facebook but not Instagram. Some are on Instagram and not Facebook. Okay, so digital farming, social media it takes a lot of work to make it work, and I'm all for it. I mean, we do a ton of digital stuff. But what I wanted to share with you is if you did everything else that I just told you and not that, you'll make six figures. So I wanted to make sure that we zero in on what's the highest priority activities that you need to do to have 2020 be your breakthrough year. All right. So I'm not against it. I think you should do it. It's just another conversation, a lot of work. Yeah. Go on, Julie.
Wonderful. Let's see. Could you ask him about, one woman wanted to know what the specific ratios in the very beginning you talked about, formulation and concentration.
Yeah. Well, let me go back. Yeah, let me go back to that because there's something cool about that I'll mention. Okay. So, because I'm going to use it specifically to real estate agent. So, and what's the question though before I go off on my tangent, Julie?
She just wanted to know what the ratios meant.
Yeah. So here's what the ratios meant. The very good question. I'm sorry I wasn't clear. When you're looking at a boulder and you're looking at the hill, you're formulating your plan. You're putting in 1 unit of energy, getting 1 back in return. Okay. So if let's say what we're doing now on this call, we're talking about, all right, gang, we're getting equal value for the energy we're putting in. But let's say you start to implement your plan. So now you're concerning a lot of efforts. Let's say you decide to build inventory. I'm going to go on a specific example. So on formulation, say, you know what, I want to get, 5 listings a month, and based on 5 listings a month, this is how many calls I have to make each week and each day, right? So let's say the formula comes out to you've got to speak to 10 FSBOs or expireds a day to hit that goal. That's probably too high of a number, but let's just go with that. So now you may call 10 FSBOs and only get 1 appointment. Then now I'm in the concentration mode. You may go on 10 listing appointments and only get 1 listing. Now, eventually what starts to happen, you start getting like, all right, you're calling and you're getting better. So you're getting more appointments, plus you're actually getting some listings. So now you've got this stability in your business that it's really starting to take off. Now the momentum part, it's like you're hardly doing anything and you're getting a lot back, right? So you may like get a listing, but then all of a sudden you have 2 listings sell and a buyer calls you off of one of your ads. In the momentum stage, this is when we see top agents who say, oh, they're just lucky. But what we're not realizing is that agent 6 months ago was in a high state of concentration where they were planting a lot of seeds, working their butt off, and now it's only paying off. And all the other observers, they don't realize it, what we did 6 months ago, and they say we're lucky. So that's what the ratio means, is based on the energy you're putting in and the returns you're getting. Okay. Julie, what? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. All right, listen, gang. So I can probably keep talking for hours, but we gotta end the call. So listen, if you're not a power agent, I'm gonna suggest you do that. I'd like you to get a copy of all these slides and get into the program. There's so much value for you to do this, and so make sure you You go to that website. I'm trying to click it for you now. Go to that website because that's where you're going to get all of those bonuses. You're going to get the 37-page breakthrough business plan, which we love, and a whole bunch of other stuff, the slides. And so anyway, thanks for calling in. Thanks, Julie, for moderating it. And gang, until next month when we do our next webinar, I look forward to talking to you. And don't forget to keep smiling. All right?
Yay. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you.